Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Moving on to the next topic, and here we'll look at another feature, another part of the drainage system, which is lake or lakes and the inland drainage. So we looked at the river drainage, we looked at the drainage basin. Now we'll look at inland drainage. Okay, so in India we have many natural lakes. Natural lakes are those which are formed naturally without man making it, without any human being, without any person building it. Okay, they are naturally formed by the help of landscapes, with the help of climate, with the help of geological structure. Now, what is a lake? A lake is a large area of water. It is also water body, just like the sea. Okay, but the water is surrounded by land. Okay, now peninsula, interestingly, is a peninsula which is surrounded by water in its three sides, on its three sides. Sea is water body, smaller part of water body in the ocean. Now lakes are water bodies which are surrounded by land. Alright. Now in India, in the Himalayan region, we have many freshwater lakes which are natural, but at the same time they are freshwater lakes. Okay, they have glacial origins, meaning their origins are in the glaciers or the melting ice. From there, these water lakes are formed. The water comes and deposits into an area and the lakes are formed. So these lakes are formed when glaciers either dug out a basin, okay, either dug out an area which was later filled with snow or dammed an area with earth and rocks. So many times these are formed when the glaciers, they dig out an area, and in that area slowly and gradually the snow keeps filling up, and then that area forms a lake. Now in Jammu and Kashmir there is a lake called Wular Lake. Now this lake is a freshwater lake. It is in fact the largest freshwater lake, but it is not formed because of the glaciers. It is not formed by the glaciers, but it is formed as a result of tectonic activity, meaning movement on the earth's surface. Okay, because of there's always movement happening beneath the surface of the earth, right? The land masses are moving. Sometimes when the movement is quite drastic, quite intense, then we experience it in the form of earthquake or in other forms of landscape, right? And this Wular Lake, which is a freshwater lake and is located in Jammu and Kashmir, is formed as a result of such tectonic activities. Now there are other important freshwater lakes in our country, and those are Dal Lake, Bhimtal, Nainital, Loktak and Barapani. These are freshwater lakes. Okay. In Rajasthan there is a lake which is called Sambar Lake, but this water is salty. The water in this lake is salty, and because of that very fact, this lake is very important or vital for producing salt which we use in our cooking, which is very important part of our diet. Okay, in Orissa there is another important lake which is called Chilika Lake. Okay, now this lake, very interestingly, is a lagoon. Okay, now what is a lagoon? A lagoon is a lake which was actually a part of the main sea, but then later gets formed into a lake, okay, which is actually a lagoon. So for example, if this is the sea and then here is the land mass, the land, okay, and for some over time this sea, what happens is that they keep erosion happens, or the flow of it is such that they cuts into the land mass. they cuts into the landmass, and then this water, which was earlier part of the sea, enters inside the landmass and it forms a lake. So this is a lagoon. Okay. In Tamil Nadu, the lake there, the important lake is called Pulikat Lake. In Andhra Pradesh, we have Killeru Lake. Okay, so these are important natural lakes. Now there are man-made lakes as well, made by men. They are not naturally made, or they are not naturally created or formed. They are created by human beings by damming the rivers. So the rivers, we know that there are many dams across our country built on rivers, right? Once dams are built, then automatically the rivers are turned into lakes. Okay. So such a man-made lake in India we have is Guru Govind Sagar Lake. Okay. Now sometimes why lakes are important is because the rivers not all the time flow into the sea or flow into the ocean. Sometimes the river also drain into the lake. Okay. Now such process or such event is called inland drainage, where the rivers do not flow into the ocean but drain their water into a lake or inland sea. Okay, they are called inland drainage. All right. Now inland drainage occurs the most in Rajasthan. Okay, and we know that in Rajasthan we have Sambar Lake, which in which the water is salty and hence very vital for making salt, right? So here in Rajasthan there are many salty water lakes. Okay, and these lakes are fed by short intermittent streams, meaning the streams which flow there, they are short and they are not perennial, they are seasonal. Okay, so when the region experiences monsoon or when there is rainfall, then the rain water is collected and then the river flows and streams flow into the lakes, right? And then it deposits, it drains its water into the into the lake. Now these lakes in Rajasthan are salty water lakes. So these lakes basically are benefiting from the rainy season, benefiting from the rivers which arise in the rainy season. All right. So the lakes, these lakes, they become dry once the rainy season is over. Only during the rainy season they have plenty of water, and the water is salty, and that can help in production of salt, right? But after the rainy season is over, the lake dries up and there's no water in it. Okay. Now, if we look at the drainage system of our country, if you look at all the rivers that we just learned about, the sea, the lakes as well. Now, 2/3 of the surface water that we have in our country, that amount of water flows or drains into the Bay of Bengal. Now, that means the amount of river, the amount of lakes we have in our country, if we divide that into 3 parts, okay, 1, 2, 3. So these are all the surface water, the water on the surface. So the lakes, the rivers, the lagoons, the sea, etc. The rivers and lakes basically. So if they are divided into 3 parts, then you will see that 2 parts of them, so more than half, drain into Bay of Bengal. Okay, so that means most of the rivers in our country, they drain into the Bay of Bengal. About 20% of them drain into the Arabian Sea. So the number of river and the amount of water that is getting drained into Arabian Sea is only about 20%, because most of it gets drained into the Bay of Bengal. So the inland drainage that our country experiences is less than 10%, which means that the river draining into lakes or the inland sea is less than 10%, very less, alright? And about 1% the Andaman Sea through the tributaries of the Irrawaddy in Myanmar. So about 1% of the water, surface water, it drains into Andaman Sea, in the Andaman Sea through the tributaries of Irrawaddy in Myanmar. So from the northeastern part of our country, it goes through Myanmar and then finally drains into the Andaman Sea. So all that is the surface water that we have in our country. So we understand that most of the surface water or the river drains into Bay of Bengal and about 20% in Arabian Sea. Okay.